The false pride of aliens. The Grand Alien Council was filled with noise. Leaders from many worlds sat in their tall silver chairs. Their voices echoed in pride. They spoke of war as if it was a game they had already mastered. They said their fleets were the biggest in the galaxy. They said their weapons were strong enough to break suns. They laughed at the idea that any other species could challenge them. Their pride was heavy, it blinded them. Outside their great hall in the endless black of space, their armadas were lined up like walls of fire, millions of ships floating together, shining like a storm of stars. Each ship armed with weapons older than empires. Each pilot trained to believe they were unbeatable. The alien generals told stories to their people. They told them humans were fragile. They called them a soft race from a blue planet. They said humans had small armies, weak ships, and no true experience in galactic wars. The crowds cheered. They believed every word, but deep inside, some younger alien officers felt a strange fear. They had heard whispers. They had seen secret reports that spoke of human battles in the dark corners of space. They had heard the name of one human battleship, but no one dared to say it loudly. Fear was punished in the council. Pride was the only truth they allowed. The Supreme Commander stood tall, his golden armor shining under the lights. He raised his hand and silenced the council. His voice was cold but filled with pride. He said, "We have mastered war. We are the kings of battle. No species can stand against our fleets, and if humans dare to rise, we will crush them before their first breath of defiance." The council roared in approval. Meanwhile, in the outer edge of their empire, alien patrol ships floated quietly, scanning deep space. The officers joked about the humans. They said if a human ship came, they would burn it for sport. But their laughter ended when a strange signal appeared on their screens. The signal was heavy, slow and deep, like something massive moving through the stars. It was not a fleet. It was not a formation. It was one single object, but the size of that object made their hands shake. They reported back to the council, but the commanders only laughed. They said, "How dangerous can one ship be? We have millions." Pride again blinded them. But the younger officer whispered, "Commander, this ship, it is not like others. Its energy is old, heavy, and powerful. It feels alive." His words were ignored. His captain ordered him to be silent. Inside the alien council hall, news spread. Screens lit up. The image of a dark shape moving in space appeared. The alien leaders leaned forward, their faces first curious, then uneasy. The shape was massive, too massive for comfort. It was not bright like their fleets. It was not covered in colors or banners. It was silent, dark, and calm. A battleship moving like a shadow. The Supreme Commander laughed loudly. "A relic, a human toy. Look how slow it moves. We will break it into pieces." His words brought nervous laughter, but the unease grew. The ship was old, yes, but its design was different. It did not shine, it did not scream power. It carried a silence that was louder than thunder. For the first time, the alien council hall grew quiet. The leaders stared at the image. The massive human battleship slowly entering their territory. No escorts, no fleets behind it, just one ship. The Supreme Commander stood again, his pride unshaken, and declared, "Tomorrow, we will show the galaxy that humans are nothing but a fragile dream." But in the corners of the hall, young alien officers exchanged looks of fear. They felt the storm that was coming out in the stars. The human battleship kept moving, silent, patient, like a predator that had no need to hurry. The alien fleets began to form around it. Millions of ships shining, preparing, their commanders confident, their soldiers chanting, but under the chants was a hidden tremble. They all felt something they did not understand. It was not the size of the human ship. It was not its weapons they feared. It was the silence, the calm, the heavy weight of something built for true war. The alien pride was still strong, but cracks had started to show. The part ended with the image of the human battleship, its shadow covering the stars and a whisper spreading through alien ranks. What if the humans are not weak? What if they are the true masters of war? The first sight of the human battleship, the alien fleets floated in perfect formation. Millions of ships stretched across the stars like a burning wall. Their commanders shouted orders. Their soldiers believed victory was already in their hands. But all eyes were fixed on one thing. In the distance, drifting slowly, the human battleship appeared in full sight. It was not bright. It was not painted with colors like alien fleets. It was dark, silent, and massive, a shadow swallowing the starlight. Aliens had seen many ships in their history, but nothing like this. The ship carried scars, long marks across its hull, as if it had survived 1,000 battles. Some parts were patched, some looked old, but the structure stood strong, heavy like a mountain floating in space. Alien soldiers whispered inside their helmets. "Why is it alone? Where is the human fleet?" No one sends only one ship. But their commanders silenced them. Pride made them blind. The Supreme Commander's voice echoed across the fleets. Remember your training. One human ship cannot stand against the masters of war. Today we will end their foolish courage. His words gave the illusion of strength, but in the hearts of many fear had begun to bloom then. Something strange happened. The human ship did not fire. It did not even prepare weapons. Instead, it sent out a signal. One message across the alien channels. The voice was calm, heavy and filled with quiet strength. The message said, "Leave this space or face human war." Silence fell across the alien fleets. The soldiers looked at each other, unsure. No alien commander had ever received such a warning. Usually enemies begged for mercy. Usually they screamed before battle. But the humans spoke only once. No begging, no anger, just cold warning. The Supreme Commander laughed. "They try to frighten us with words. How childish." He raised his hand and ordered the first wave of attack. Thousands of alien ships moved forward, their engines blazing, but before they could fire, something unexpected happened. The human ship's dark hull lit up with faint blue lines. Old energy systems waking from silence, the alien sensors screamed. Their readings showed impossible power levels. Panic spread among the alien officers. One of them shouted, "Commander, this ship, it carries technology we have never seen. Its shields are ancient but stronger than ours. Its core, it feels alive." But again, the warnings were ignored. Pride was louder than fear. The alien fleets prepared their weapons. Energy cannons charged, missiles armed, lasers ready. The stars themselves seemed to glow with deadly light inside the human battleship. The crew remained silent, their faces calm. They had been trained for moments like this. Their hands steady on the controls. No fear in their eyes, they knew what their ship could do. The human captain stood at the command bridge. He did not shout. He only spoke in a low voice. "Hold fire! Let them show their pride first," his crew nodded. Trusting every word, alien ships rushed closer. Thousands surrounding the human battleship like vultures around prey. But the human ship did not move. It floated with the patience of a predator, waiting for the right strike. Then the aliens opened fire. A storm of energy blasted toward the human ship. The dark of space lit up like a second sun. Explosions rained down, millions of alien weapons hitting at once. For a moment, the galaxy seemed to shake. Alien soldiers cheered, believing the human ship was destroyed. Their laughter filled the channels, but when the smoke cleared, the human battleship still stood, its shields glowing faintly. Not a single scar added to its hull. Alien cheers turned into silence. Their victory cries froze in their throats. Then the human captain gave the order. Fire, one cannon lit up. A massive beam of pure energy cut across space. In a single shot, an entire alien fleet formation vanished. Thousands of ships burned to dust in seconds. The aliens gasped in horror. One shot had undone what they believed was impossible. One ship had erased a fleet that was meant to be eternal. The Supreme Commander tried to shout orders, but his voice shook, his eyes wide in disbelief. The words he once spoke with pride now felt empty. The young alien officers whispered, "This is no ordinary ship, this is a nightmare. This is war itself." And as the alien fleet struggled to recover, the human battleship remained silent once more, drifting calmly, its presence heavier than any army. The aliens realized a truth they never wanted to face. They had claimed to master war, but before them now stood something far greater, something built not for pride but for survival. The human battleship did not need to boast, it only needed to exist. And for the first time in galactic history, the aliens felt what true fear meant. The storm breaks. Space burned with light. Alien weapons had failed. Their millions of shots had crashed against the human battleship like waves against a mountain, and the mountain had not moved. The alien fleets broke their silence with fear. Captains shouted over each other. Orders became chaos. Soldiers who once believed they were kings of war now trembled. The Supreme Commander roared to restore control. "Do not fear, regroup. Their shields cannot last forever." But even he felt his hands shake. He had never seen such power. The human battleship floated calmly, smoke still drifting around it. But the ship's blue lines glowed brighter, as if it had just awakened. Then it moved, slow but unstoppable. Every shift of its massive body made the alien fleet scatter. Smaller ships were pushed away by its gravity waves, as if the ship itself bent space around it. Suddenly the battleship fired again, but this time not one cannon. Dozens of weapons lit up together. Beams of energy crossed the stars. Missiles streaked forward like silent predators. The result was terror, Entire wings of alien fleets vanished in seconds. Explosions spread like fire across dry grass. Ships collided. Screams filled the comm channels. A young alien officer whispered, his voice trembling, "This is not war. This is slaughter." Inside the battleship, the human crew worked in silence, their faces steady, their voices calm. They had trained for this. They were not celebrating. They were not laughing. They were only doing what they knew. Survive. Their captain stood tall, his eyes fixed on the battlefield. He said only one thing: target the flagships first. His words carried no emotion, but his crew obeyed without hesitation. Alien commanders realized too late what was happening. One by one, their command ships were destroyed, cut apart with surgical precision, their chain of command shattered like glass. Without leaders, the alien armadas collapsed. Ships collided with each other. Pilots fled, and entire fleets lost direction. Still, the Supreme Commander tried to stand tall. He shouted across the fleet, "Fight, fight for the pride of the Council. Fight for our name." But his words felt weak. No pride could erase the fear of death. The human battleship did not rush. It destroyed slowly, piece by piece, as if teaching a lesson, as if showing the galaxy what human war truly meant. Aliens had always fought with numbers, with millions, but the humans fought with patience, precision, and unbreakable will. In one corner of the battlefield, an alien soldier cried, "They are not fighting to win. They are fighting to end us." The human ship launched drones, small silent machines that spread into alien fleets, cutting their engines, shutting down their shields, leaving them helpless. Alien ships that had survived the first wave now drifted powerless, waiting for their end. Then, for the first time, the human captain spoke directly to the alien fleets. His voice carried across all channels. Deep and calm, he said, "We warned you, but you chose pride. Now you will understand." Those words broke the last strength of the alien soldiers. Many dropped their weapons. Many begged their commanders to retreat. But the Supreme Commander still shouted, "No, we are the masters of war." His voice cracked as he saw his own flagship shaking. Human missiles locked onto it, his screens flashing red in seconds. The proud flagship of the Alien Council was split apart, fire erupting from its core. The Supreme Commander's scream lost in static. The battlefield fell silent. Only the human battleship remained, its guns cooling, its shields still glowing. Millions of alien ships had been destroyed, their pride crushed, their history burned in one night, and yet, the human ship did not chase the survivors. It only drifted in silence again, as if saying, "We do not fight for conquest. We fight because you forced us." The aliens who survived whispered to each other, their voices filled with fear. Humans are not weak, they are not fragile. They are war itself. The storm had broken, and the galaxy would never forget it. The truth of humanity, the battlefield was silent now. Wreckage of alien fleets floated across the dark space. Millions of burning fragments drifted slowly like dying stars. The pride of the Alien Council had been crushed in a single storm. Yet the human battleship did not chase the survivors. It stood still, silent, calm, like a mountain after an earthquake. Inside the Alien Council halls, panic spread. Leaders who once shouted with pride now whispered in fear. Their screens replayed the battle again and again. One human ship had undone their history. Their lies of power had been revealed. Younger officers spoke in low voices. "What kind of ship is that? How can one vessel carry such power?" No one had answers, but rumors began to spread. Some said the ship was ancient, built in wars older than the Council itself. Some said it carried human knowledge from centuries of survival. Some even whispered it had a living mind inside it, a spirit born of battle. The truth was more terrifying. Inside the battleship, humans stood calm, their captain silent as he watched the stars. His eyes did not glow with pride. They burned with memory. Memory of Earth, memory of the wars that shaped them. Humans had fought themselves for thousands of years. Wars on land, wars in sky, wars in oceans, wars in space. They had torn their own world apart and built it again. They had survived hunger, fire, disease, and endless conflict. And every scar of that history had been built into this ship. Its weapons were not for show. They were for survival. Its shields were not for pride. They were for endurance. Its silence was not weakness. It was the patience of a species that had learned what war truly meant. The Alien Council never understood. They thought numbers made them strong. They thought weapons made them kings, but humans had learned something deeper. Humans had learned that war was not about pride. War was about survival, and in survival, humans had no equal. In the battlefield, alien survivors floated helpless. Their voices carried across the channels. Some cried for mercy. Some cursed the humans. Some simply remained silent, unable to believe what they had seen. Then the human captain opened communication again. His voice steady. "You speak of mastery," he said. "But war is not a crown to wear. War is not glory, war is scars, it is pain. It is the last breath of those who refuse to surrender." Aliens listened in silence, his words heavier than any weapon. The captain continued, "We did not come here to conquer. We did not come here to boast. We came because you forced us, and now you see. Mercy is still in our hands, but do not mistake mercy for weakness." The message ended, but it echoed in every alien heart. The survivors stared at the massive ship. They realized the humans had chosen not to destroy them all, though they could. They realized the humans were showing restraint, a lesson wrapped in fear. Inside the council, old leaders argued. Some demanded another attack, but their voices shook. Others demanded surrender, their faces pale. No one dared to call humans weak anymore. And outside, across other stars, the news spread fast. Other species who once laughed at humans now whispered their names with fear. The story of the battleship traveled like fire across dry wood. They called it a ghost of war. They called it the reaper of fleets. They called it the ship that carried the truth of humanity. The truth was simple. Humans did not want war, but when war came, humans became something no empire could endure. The alien soldiers who had survived carried this truth back to their people, and with every retelling, fear grew in the dark. The battleship floated silently, its scars glowing under distant suns. Not a trophy, not a symbol of conquest, but a reminder of what humans had always been. Fighters, survivors, and the keepers of war's true face. The galaxy now stood at a crossroad. Would they listen to the warning, or would pride destroy them again? But one thing was certain. The truth of humanity had been revealed, and the universe would never look at humans the same way again. The galaxy learn's fear wreckage floated like broken stars. The battlefield was a graveyard. The smell of burned metal and silence of death spread across endless space. The alien fleets that once bragged about glory were now only dust and fire. The human battleship stood still among the ruins, its dark hull glowing faintly. It did not celebrate. It did not raise banners. It only drifted in silence like a shadow that had proven its truth. Alien survivors carried the memory home, their ships limping back with broken engines, their faces pale with fear, and their voices shaking when they spoke of what they had seen. In every alien world, in every council hall, whispers began. The humans have awakened. The proud species who once laughed at Earth now fell into silence. Their leaders canceled parades. Their soldiers stopped chanting songs of pride, because deep inside one question haunted them. If one human battleship can do this, what will happen if an entire human fleet rises? Panic spread across the galaxy like fire. Old alliances broke. Empires questioned their strength. Even the strongest predator species hesitated before speaking of war. But the humans remained silent. They did not send fleets. They did not make demands. They let the silence of their battleship carry the warning. Inside the alien council, fear consumed the leaders. The hall that once echoed with arrogance now trembled with doubt. One voice asked, "Are humans the true masters of war?" Another whispered, "Or are they something worse, something beyond war?" Meanwhile, the survivors who had faced the human ship could not sleep. They remembered the voice of the human captain. Calm, cold, steady. "Do not mistake mercy for weakness." Those words burned deeper than any weapon. Whole civilizations began to prepare for peace, not out of love, but out of fear. They built monuments to remind their people never to anger humans again. The galaxy learned quickly. It was not the size of the human battleship that crushed them. It was the silence, the patience, the scars carved into its hull. A ship that carried the weight of human history. A ship that showed war not as glory, but as survival. Across the stars, children were told stories. Not of alien kings, not of alien victories, but of the day the human battleship arrived. They were told never to forget, never to test the humans again, and yet, the humans themselves did not walk with pride. They remained quiet. They rebuilt their ship, repaired its scars, and watched the galaxy from afar. They had no need for thrones, their strength was enough. But in every council, in every empire, in every secret chamber, leaders whispered to each other, "If the humans rise, if they bring more battleships, no force in the galaxy will stand." The lesson was clear. Aliens had claimed they mastered war. But when the human battleship arrived, the galaxy discovered the truth. Humans did not master war for glory. They became war for survival. And from that day forward, the galaxy lived not in pride but in fear. The shadow of one ship had changed everything. The galaxy learned that mercy had been given once, but if pride ever returned, the storm of humanity would rise again. And this time there would be no survivors.